Welcome back to yet another session for CATIA and design automation. So we're going to continue where we left last time. And what we did last time was that we did some kind of a reference model fuselage, and then also we made a wing. Let's take a look at it. We have a wing power copy here, which looks like this. So just a quick recap, we made a power copy here and we selected the geometries which we want to instantiate, which are these ones, and then also the parameters and the relations. And here we have the references that are needed in order for it to instantiate. And I put all my references in a geometric set like this in order for them to be quite visible, and also when it comes to a programming perspective, it's good to do it like this. I'll show you when we get more into it. So what I demonstrated for you last time was that together with this power copy part, we were able to create a new part here and then instantiate the power copy manually and then modify the parameters. What we're going to do during this session is that we're going to do all of that with some Visual Basic code. So here we are, and now we want to start the automation process. What to do. So I usually start with Excel VB. So there are some instructions on how to do it if you want to get this developer tab, and then when you got the developer tab, you simply press here on Visual Basic, and now we're in the window where we can start writing our code. So the first thing that I will do is that I will create a new module, and now I can start writing my code. So I'm going to write a kind of a test code right now. So also, before starting to write anything, we need some code template, and here I'm going to use two of the templates that's been given to you in the various tutorials that you have received. And also these are actually the same templates. If you're going to do the individual exercise, then you're going to receive these two templates. So I'm going to copy some code from here in order to help me do my design automation. So I'm going to just take this, let's see, how much should we take? I can take this much. And then just paste it here. So the good thing with working with this VB editor in Excel is that you can simply just press F8 and then you can browse through your code. Except that one, which didn't work, simply because if we had this code in CATIA, it would have worked, because CATIA knows what CATIA is. However, Excel doesn't know what CATIA is, so we have to define for Excel what CATIA is. CATIA is equal to set CATIA equal to get object CATIA dot application. So what this simply does is that it fetches the necessary DLLs and libraries in order to find the various libraries that are in this CATIA class. So now we can browse through this code. If we would right click here on Documents 1 and go to Add Watch, then we can see that we have here we have in Documents 1 we have 2 items. If we go into these items, we can see that one of these items is item 1 is aircraft product 1.cat product. It's this one. And we can also see the full name of it, which is where it is stored. And then we have the next one is the fuselage.cat part, which is this one. And this is what I mean with using Add Watch can be quite useful. If you go into part, then we can find the various hybrid bodies in the fuselage. So main fuselage, wing geo, HT geo, VT geo. This is the main fuselage. Item 2 is the wing geo, and so on. So it's a quite good way of fetching this these various geometry containers. All right, so here it's defining what product document is, and the name of the product document is this one, which is not correct because in this example it's called aircraft underscore product 1. So we have to change that. Aircraft underscore product 1, and now it should be correct. So this is good to have code. So with these different classes, there are various functions that you're going to be able to you do want to use them later on. So just F8 this through. And this is for selection. And now we go into for the reference part, which here it should be the fuselage .cat part. And then we go into the part, and then we go into the hybrid bodies. So what we're doing here when we are going through the different classes is that first the reference becomes item 1, and then this reference part goes into the .part class, which is here. And from the .part class it goes into hybrid bodies, which is here. And then we have various hybrid body items. So let's say that I want to go to the wing geo hybrid body. What I should write here is wing geo hybrid body, and this doesn't really matter what the name of this is. You can set it to anything arbitrary. Hybrid bodies 1 dot item, and here it should be called wing geo, like that. There we go. And if we go into Add Watch on this one, we can see that it contains, what does it contain? It contains hybrid shapes. The hybrid shapes are these ones. So wing start is the first item, second item is RC, and so on and so forth. 7 items. So let's take one step at a time. What I would like to do now is that I would like to open the presentation that we had for this lecture. So let's see just what we actually want to do. We want to create a new part. We want to rename the part. So let's start with that. To make things a little bit more easy, we can just take out the code from here. So here, this is a line for creating a new component, in this case a part. So I will just paste it here. So now if I move this cursor upwards, I have already defined what products1 is, and in the products1 class there is a function that is called add new component. So now, and I mean, there is no way of knowing that. You can't just know that in products1 obviously there will be a function which is called add new component. This is something which you have to search online, and there are some material on the net where you can actually see how these classes are structured, so you can go through all the various functions, but that is like completely a waste of time. I mean, you can't just go and see what functions there are and so on. So usually, I mean, the best way is just to move from some kind of a template, and then you just use the template, and then you write your code around this template. That's basically what we're going to do now. All right, so in products1 there is a function called add new component, and since products1 is direct descendant of this document, we're going to create a new part under this document, the aircraft product1 cat product. So when I press F8 here, we will get a part directly under this product, like this. And then we would like to change the name of this test. Something like that. So with and you can just increase your strings. I could either do that, or I could do it like this. So when I press F8 here, then the name here will change like that. And this is the part number. This is a little bit more tricky. This, we could also change this, but that could be that could make some problems for us later on, because when it comes to part number, CATIA wants to reserve some of the names, and if we are not very how do you say, if you're not careful how you have used the part numbers, then it could be overridden by CATIA. So to make things easier, we don't change the part number. All right, so now we are able to create a new part, and then we are able to rename it, and now we want to copy references. So that's what we're going to do now. And here, as you remember, we went into the fuselage and then into the wing geo, right? And also, let's just read this one more time. In wing geo, in hybrid shapes, there is here are the items. So you have count, you can see how many items there is, 7, and then these are the items. So what I will do here is that I will create a new object, and then I will call it wing. Whoops. Wing geo shapes, and then it will be a direct descendant of this one, and that will be dot hybrid shapes. There we go. Add watch. Then we can see that we are in the correct. So now we want to copy all our references here. So what I will do is that I will create a for loop is equal to 1 to hybrid shapes dot count. Next. And it just happens to be that wing hybrid shapes dot count. If we do add watch on that, we can see that yes, it's 7. So this will loop from 1 to 7. And now I will do some kind of a selection of these various elements. So let's see here. We need to do a selection add, and then we need to do a selection copy. So here we have defined selection, selection one dot add, and here let's see, we have to take this one dot item, and here we'll just do I, and then we can move up the cursor here. You see, this is, yeah, I really like working with this editor. It's very easy to work with, and if you would have worked in Reaction instead, in CATIA, that would have been much harder to just go back and forward with in the code. One other important fact is that you need to put a clear selection before you start adding. Otherwise, there could be some selection beforehand which you didn't want to include it. So let's say now we will just select a couple of different objects here. And if we would just click on selection one.clear, it will clear them. And now we start to add the various items here. First one, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh. So now we have all of them added, but this doesn't, it's not enough. So we need to copy it like so. And then we need to clear our selection again. Like so. All right, so let's see, I've already created a part, but I will delete it so I can do that again. Let's just make this a little bit bigger. So I will create a new part, and I will rename it like that. And here we're going to paste what we have already copied. So if we go back to the template code that we have here, we go into hybrid bodies. There we go. Let's take all of this. So, and then just put it here. And we will just move the cursor up to this position. New P1. Let's see if I missed something here. New one. Oh yeah, we need need this as well. So we modified the name, but then we also need to know the part number, which is this one, part 4. So when we go down here, we get the part number, part 4. And now we have to go inside another, in this one, in products 1, there are a set of different classes and functions, and in documents 1, there's another set of classes and functions. So we need to go into documents 1, and then we go into .part, .hybrid bodies, and here we say just select this part and hybrid body, like such, and then paste what you had copied beforehand, and do it with link. This is what this text means. So it will just paste it and then clear. All right, so as you noticed, we were not able to paste it, and the reason is I had written selection instead of selection 1. So I will just add a 1 here. I've already removed my part, and I will just redo this process one more time. Move it up here, and then do the selection, copy, clear, create a new part, select it. Here we can just go inside, paste, clear, update. There we go. So if we now hide this part, we can see that it includes all the references that we have selected and then copied. So now when we have our reference, we have our part, we have renamed the part, we have pasted the references to the part. Now let's see, in our PowerPoint, the only thing left to do is to instantiate the actual Power Copy. And we have a template code for that, so we'll just copy this much from this template code, and then I will just paste it here, and it looks like this. So what is part destination? It is some kind of part document .part, and that we actually have here. So we can just set part destination is equal to this, or we could just remove this completely, and instead of part destination we can just put this new part here instead. And here, for doing the instantiation process automatically, you need to have the name of the Power Copy and also where it's stored. So if we would open the Power Copy part again, we can see that it's called simply PC, and it is stored here. For me, it's stored here. And then I will just give it the correct address. Let's say again, copy. And here we're going to write wing PC. Was that correct? Let's see. There we go. And this should be just PC. All right. So let's do that. Let's move up the cursor again to here, and then we can start the instantiation process, begin instantiate, and now begins the a little bit interesting part, because here we're going to set which reference is equal to which reference. So here's what's good with having a structured models. So instead of doing find object by name, we're going to go inside we're going to go inside and add watch for this part. Let's see what we have here. In hybrid bodies we have one item. That item is external references. If we go into the external references, we have these hybrid shapes, and these are the references that we need to, when we did the manual instantiation, you needed to select manually which PowerCopy reference is equal to which reference in the new part. And the good thing now is that we have exactly the same name for this part where we're going to instantiate our PowerCopy. Which means if we would write here set ref ext is equal to passed in dot, was it passed in dot item, and then the item is called external references, external refer, like that. Let's see if I got it right. Yes. And yeah, also we need to go into the hybrid shapes. There we go. So now we'll write a new loop. For I is equal to 1 to ref ext dot count next. If I will do add watch on this one, you can see that in ref ext we have a dot count function, and then we have all the items. So here I can just do my set item to set is equal to ref ext dot item, and then here we have I, and then the next row should be the name which is given in the PowerCopy part. And again, if we would look into the ref ext, if we go to item 1, we can see that there is a function which is called or an attribute which is called name. It's for item 1, the name is wingstart. So what we will write here is item to set dot name, like that. So we go into the first one, and then if I would just select this and set add watch on it, and it's just only one value is doing start. So instead of doing copy paste this 7 times, we can just do it in one loop. If you have the names, if the names of your references in your new part is the same as the name of the references that you had for your PowerCopy part. So now I can remove this like that, and then just X this through until we have all 7 references, and then instantiate factory and update. This does not work, and the reason is that we have not defined what part dest is. We replace it with this one, but I forgot to replace it over here as well. So now we will do new part dot update, and now it's going to work much better. So now we have our PowerCopy instantiated here, and we have our wing instantiated in this part, and it works as it should. Alright, so we don't want to have the instantiations inside the part body, and a good way of doing that is to we'll do undo here, remove the instantiation, and then here I will create a new code. Let's see here. If we would make the external references geometric set as, you see now the part body, as soon as you create a part, the part body will become selected as it's in work object. So there's a function inside the part class which is called in work object, and this could then be equal to this one. Let's see, if we go up here, then it will select this one instead, like that. And now when we do, I can play here, the instantiation process, then we get the geometry and the wing geometry after the external references, and that's. So now we're going to we did an instantiation for the wing. Now we're going to create 3 parts: one instantiation for the wing, one for the horizontal tail, and then one for the vertical tail. And as you remember, we have references for each of these in the fuselage reference part. So I will not do this in a neat way. I will do it just by doing some copy paste, which essentially is a really bad way of programming, to just do copy paste in this way. But during the next session I will take this, and then I will put in loops and function in order to make it much more efficient. So in the first one, what we did is that we went into the wing geo. We'll just change the name here to wing 1. For the next part, we will go inside the HT geo, which is this one. And I mean the process is the same. It goes into that geometric set, and it sees how many items it contains, and then it selects all the items, it copies them, and then it pastes them, right? So, and then in the third one it goes into the VT geo like that, and then yet again it's the same process. So it will just move the cursor up to the beginning of the project. Let's see, from here. Now we're going to read through the references in Wing Geo. So we press play here, and it stops here. You can see that it has selected all the references for the Wing Geo. And then we'll put a stop here and then play again. Now it has created a new part, call it Wing 1. This one we will also change to HT1 and then VT1. it created a part, it pasted the references, and then it did the power copy instantiation. And now we're going to go inside the next geometry set and copy the references, which is HTGeo here. So I will take a stop here, press play. Now it has selected all the references for the HTGeo, and I come down here, press play. Now it has made an instantiation for the horizontal tail, and then it's time for the vertical tail. So we'll just stop it here, press play, vertical tail is selected, and then play one more time. So now we have created 1, 2, and 3 parts where we have instantiated the various wings. So for the next session we will do a more cleaned up programming. We will put it in some loops and functions, and then we will also start working with instantiation of ribs and so on. But for now, this is enough for doing some basic design automation and power copy instantiation. Thank you for joining me in this session. See you next time. Bye.